All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on 27 Outs. I, of course, am Ivan alongside Stefan. You see the very big smile on our faces, but at the same time, I have to be honest, man, deep down inside, I'm a little sad. You know, we are about a week and a half, 2 weeks away from there being no more baseball. It hurts. You know, we're not there yet, but just knowing that we're getting closer, like I'm happy and I'm sad at the same time. I'm happy to see the Dodgers and the Yankees beat the hell out of each other, but at the same time, I'm like, damn, can y'all please give us as much as you can?
Listen, ain't it crazy that we come back, we bring the show back, and these niggas is in the World Series?
Ooh, what are the odds? That's a good point.
Listen, real quick, I'm gonna get off on a sappy note, but I texted you full off the top, you know, raw emotion, right? When Soto called that last out, I was happy. Like I'm like, we back in the series. But it hit me when they were getting the trophy, and you seen Hal up there, you seen Cash up there, you seen the boys up there all hyped up. And I got emotional because I'm like, yo, the last time we won the series, bro, my dad was, the nigga called me the next day. Happy, thrilled, excited, like, yo, we did it. You know what I mean? And like, my dad's been gone almost 8 years. 8 years this January. So like, to think about, like, damn, like, life happens fast. Like, you got a kid. I didn't even know you in 2009.
That's right. Yeah, we did not know each other.
The last time we won the series, George was alive. Think of George. That's George's last championship. Was that one? And you start to put in perspective how special these things are. Don't take it for granted, Yankee fans, Dodger fans. Whoever you root for, don't take it for granted.
Yeah, as a Yankee fan specifically, because, you know, for a lot of people, that it's been so long, and you know, you probably went from seeing them in the World Series every year, especially if you go back to the three-peat. And now I kind of feel like, as a Yankee fan, we know exactly what it feels like when you're a fan of other teams, you know, teams who have these crazy playoff droughts, who probably have never made it to a World Series. And not that this is that situation, but when you're not there for as long as the Yankees haven't been there for, it adds up and you feel it, because I sure did. I sure have. You know, the job is not done yet. And that is why we're here today, to bring you this video.
yeah, that's true. The job ain't done, but just revel in the moment and be like, yo, they made the series. Like, I didn't think that was, you know, me and you we used to have conversations of like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know when it's gonna happen. I might walk the next time these niggas make the series. Now, luckily, that hasn't happened yet, and we finally here. But you know what I mean? But let's get to it, man. That was a great series. Let's just put it in perspective. Like, for anybody trying to shit on the Mets, y'all need to go over there for like a half a second. Just understand what they did. Understand who they were at the beginning of the year and who they turned out to be. With that being said, two things need to be established first and foremost. Carlos Mendoza needs to be National League Manager of the Year. If he isn't, there's something wrong with the voting system. Don't give me Dave Roberts, because he had an all-star team of all-star teams. I ain't even trying to hear that. Get that out my face. That's first and foremost. Second of all, Francisco Alvarez didn't hit till last month of the regular season. He was
I kind of feel like last season, I was expecting a lot more out of him, especially from the bat, right? Because, you know, not a lot of people are fans of how Alvarez is behind the plate, but the guy's still fairly young, right? It was the bat that a lot of people were expecting to be bigger than what it was this season. But funny thing is, too, I was looking at a list of the guys who are now about to enter free agency for the Mets. Next season's team can look very different.
All of those guys can stay there, because I don't think Severino's going to pitch that good for you. I don't think JD Martinez is going to have the first half he had for you. I don't think Jesse Winker is going to have the impact he had for you. So you know what I'm doing? My first order of business, yo, Let's go get Corbin Burns.
Oh, that would be lovely. Yeah.
Let's go get Corbin Burns. Let's trade for Garrett Crochet from the White Sox. Let's turn this pitching staff into something you have to deal with. Because the Mets' biggest problem in this postseason, they didn't have the rotation depth to get them through a series. Now, we can argue offensively, they didn't do much. I'm here for that. You pitched scared to that Dodger lineup. You walked a lot of guys. You didn't attack the strike zone. If you're going to be the team like the Dodgers, who has the lowest chase rate in baseball, you got to attack the strike zone. And if they beat you, they beat you. But you can't walk around. You know they had 37 walks in that series, bro?
And that's tough, especially when you're facing a team like the Dodgers, who has all of those offensive weapons. And the crazy part too, man, I don't know if you felt this way, Stefan, when you were watching the series, but I don't think the Mets ever really made any adjustments when it came to Mookie Betts and Tommy Edman. The two of them were just doing whatever the hell they wanted to do.
When you got a team like the Dodgers who's just comfortable at the plate and they're just comfortable in the box, you got to pitch inside. Pitching inside, to me, changes the equation of a game and could change the equation of a series. Because if you're just going to let them go out over the plate, out over, eventually they're going to figure it out and they're going to go, oh, we can get out here? Nah, it's food, right? And the Mets didn't have a lot of guys with a lot of velo. I guess they didn't feel comfortable pitching inside because they didn't have the velocity to maintain pitching inside. But here's how you get Mookie Betts out. You attack him up and in. You attack him up around the chest to neck areas where you get him out. And if you don't chase and he walks, then fine. But if you're going to sit there and say, well, you know, we're just going to throw strikes. No, you gotta mix it up. And here's the other thing. I thought the Mets were really predictable with their pitching pattern. Where if I'm the Mets, I start pitching backwards. Breaking ball, all speed pitches early in the count. And then when they're not looking for it, you spot heaters on the inside, outside corner. Change the eye level. Where you watch the Dodgers, it was just a comfortable at bat from Betts, from Edman, from guys like Kike Hernandez, who is unbelievable in the postseason. I believe Kike Hernandez had 15 career postseason home runs with an OPS of like over 1,000. So just think about that stat. Kike Hernandez is a playoff performer since his days with the Red Sox. This guy just comes up big. And Tommy Edman just missed the versatility. You could play him anyway.
That was a nice acquisition, man.
Tommy Edman, the final two teams that were in the mix for him were the Yankees and the Dodgers. Ain't that something?
Wow, that's crazy.
The Yankees thought they had a deal for Tommy Edman.
Actually, you know who else we could throw in there too? Jack Flaherty.
Yeah, Jack Flaherty. The Yankees thought they had Jack Flaherty.
Yeah.
And then with about 10 minutes to go, Andrew Freeman and his staff just pulled off the ultimate ace card and was like, hold that. We're going to snatch him up.
Would it bother you at all if Jack Flaherty goes on to have like this I don't know, good start or two in the World Series?
Nah, because I don't think Jack Flaherty's going to have those good starts. I like Jack Flaherty as a pitcher. I like him. I think his stuff is electric. I think he could be really special. But the Mets offense ain't this Yankee offense.
That's right.
That's no slight to the Mets. That's just the reality in which we live. Let me just point something out real quick. Credit to Dave Roberts for pitching that bullpen as expertly as he's managed it. Michael Kopech being their closer is unbelievable.
How about that, man? When I saw him actually being the guy to start that game, I said, what is this?
When they got him, you remember what I said when they got him? When they got him, I said they're going to turn him around. They're going to make him into the guy that he was when he first got to Chicago. They're going to turn him around, and that's exactly what they do. They just know how to deal with, big players and big-time stuff and big-time personalities.
This is why a lot of credit needs to be given to the entire roster, man, for the Dodgers, because you had a guy like Teoscar Hernandez who didn't do much. Freeman, even if he wanted to, he can't do much anyway. And it's like, yo, you know what? That's the least of our worries. We got other guys who are locked and loaded, ready to go.
Guys like Paez, guys like Tommy Edman, guys like Kike, they find a way to just produce.
We stated it on the show. We said we had the Mets defeating the Dodgers in that series. By game 3, which was the second time in 3 games that the Mets had gotten shut out by the Dodgers in that series alone. Within 3 games, I already made the change in saying, like, no, the Dodgers got this. Because the offense just wasn't there.
And this is why I'm going to tell you this. You can't give up 8-9 runs in the first 4 innings and expect to come back. I don't care how miracle Metsish you may be. The pitching staff let them down. You need to get quality relievers and quality starters in there if you're going to make a run for a championship. That's just how it has to be. We could sit here and argue about semantics, about how they get better and where they start to get better. If it were me, I'm going to get Corbin Burns, I'm going to get Garrett Crochet, and I'm going to get J-Ran from Cleveland because I don't think the Guardians' window is as open as everybody says.
Yeah, I know we're gonna get into how that turned out for the Guardians against the Yankees, but that is something good. He shouldn't waste the time there.
You want to talk about instant upgrade offensively. You put him with Vientos.
Yeah, man, Vientos. I've said this before, but it's kind of crazy how last year a lot of fans weren't too pleased about him and Brett Beatty and the two of them when they came up. And then obviously Brett Beatty being the odd man out this year, Mark Vientos being the guy who they decided to give a shot. And what a way it turned out, not only for himself, but for the Mets. I think Mark Vientos is one of those bright spots in the Mets' future.
And then you put him with Acuna.
Ronald Acuna Jr.'s brother, yeah.
And you put him with Mauricio. And now you got the makings of a young core.
And with Lindor again. Remember what they did the last time they were together when they were in Cleveland.
Now you take Vientos and move him to first. Notice I didn't say anything about Pete Alonso because he gone.
I was just about to go there. I was going to ask you, what do you think? Did he do enough in the playoffs or it doesn't matter?
First of all, did he do enough in the playoffs? Outside of their home run in Milwaukee, is there APB? I think Pete Alonso's face is still on a milk box. He didn't show up in the biggest moments. It was Lindor, Vientos, and a bunch of maybes. So when everybody says, oh, but the Mets need to spend $900 billion and then they got to get all the start. No. Let those kids develop because you got something with those kids. Get some pitching in here. If you want, go get a veteran outfielder. I don't mind that. A veteran outfielder makes sense if I'm the Mets. Maybe 2 veteran out. Get Jeff McNeil out of here, please. Please get him out of here.
That extension that they gave to him is looking pointless now.
If I'm the Reds, if the Reds ain't really serious about making the playoffs, go get Alexis Diaz. Put the Diaz brothers in the same bullpen and let's go to work.
That would be insane, man. You know what's another thing I want to say to top it all off for the Mets and how this season turned out for them, man?
Mm-hmm.
This was year one of David Stearns and Carlos Mendoza, man. Like we talked about a couple of players that they have, on the team now who should play a big part in not just next season, but moving forward. But how about the guys who called the shots, man? Year one, and you make it to the NLCS.
This is going to be the worst Met team you see in the next 6 years.
Oh, my gosh. And they were fun to watch this season.
So just think about that concept. This is going to be the worst Met team you see in the next 6 years. Because Cohen got money. You got prospects. You got youth. Lindor is still going to be Lindor because I think he's going to age gracefully. That's just how I see it, right? So, like, if this is the worst Met team you see in the next 6 years, you got yourself a nice little run to go on. Like, don't sit there and flip out and be like, oh, we're going to be terrible. The sky is falling. No, the sky is not falling.
Right. And that's saying a lot because I think prior to this season, the sky was falling.
Right.
You had a lot of people who did think that they would be a playoff team. And then you had so many others who were like, there's absolutely no way they're making the playoffs. They're selling. Pete Alonso's gone. This guy is gone. They ended up doing the opposite. I think it worked for them in a very big way.
David Stearns might be the best executive in baseball right now. Like Andrew Freeman, I get it. He got more. He's working with more money than the Federal Reserve. The Dodgers got more money than God. Like you ain't really. You know what I mean? Like David Stearns, limited resources, limited funds. You only said we're going to cut back on spending, and you still go out and you find a Severino on a 1-year deal. You bring Quintana in on a 1-year deal. Like, you do things where you're like, he's kind of a risk taker, David Stearns. I like this dude. You know what I mean? He like a little balls to the wall-ish. Like, all right, nobody expects us to do nothing, but here's a quick 89 wins. And they did something that nobody said they were going to do, including me. And here's the funny part. You just seen him working his magic around the edges. You haven't seen him really put his full stamp on that starting pitching.
Right.
Let's go through this when he was in Milwaukee. Corbin Burns developed under David Stearns.
Yeah, Freddie Peralta, Brandon Woodruff.
Devin Williams. That's one thing he knows how to do is develop pitching. So if I'm a Met fan right now, I'm just sitting there like, well, goddamn, he can develop pitching. He got the money to go get Corbin Burns if he really wants to.
You know, a lot of times you think when somebody like him, you know, would leave a team, as he did with the Milwaukee Brewers, you think the team is going to be nothing like what it was when he was there. Listen, I think he left the Brewers in a very good position, hence why they still won the NL Central. I'd like to see what he has in store for Queens. Chapter 1 was amazing.
Of many chapters. That's why don't hang your heads, man, fans. Don't be sad. Don't be depressed. Don't be nothing. You guys are going to be here knocking at the door for at least the next 6-7 seasons. Stephen Vogt needs his head examined for pitching to Giancarlo Stanton those 3 games in Cleveland.
Damn, that's how you want to start, bro. No credit to the team. No credit to him as well, who just like Carlos Mendoza is in his first season. Come on, dude, you ripped his head off already. Ain't nothing to talk about. You killed him.
No, yes, there is, because I'm going to work backwards. Let me ask you this question. If you're him, when Giancarlo hits that first home run off a Class A to give us the lead,
especially off of Class A,
don't your antennas go up and say, ho. Your 6'6" ass ain't beating us no more. Hell no. 4 fingers, first base, here you go. Him beating you 3 times in a row. You deserve to lose. You didn't give your team a chance. First of all, I could argue, why are you pitching to Soto in the 10th? Put 4 fingers up and pitch the Judge. And if Judge is a grand slam, then you live with it and you go home, which I think you were going home anyway.
Right. And I know a lot of people, when they hear you say that, they're probably thinking like, oh, why would he say pitch to Judge? In fact, if you think about the playoffs itself, not just in that moment, but overall, like if you're a pitcher, like put yourself on the mound right now. Would you rather pitch to Juan Soto or would you rather pitch to Aaron Judge? Everyone is going to pick Aaron Judge.
In this current moment, yeah.
Yeah. I know it sounds crazy, but we are living in the now. We're not living in the regular season.
Right, and here's the thing. If he hits a grand slam and he goes bridge and the Yankees celebrate euphoric, then you know what, Stephen Vogt? You live with it. You live with whatever happens. But you let the 2 hottest hitters in the series snatch your soul from your body, and then you asked, well, damn. How did we end up here? First of all, we could argue that you had a worse defensive series than the Yankees, and the Yankees were one of the worst defensive teams in the league this year.
And that was tough for them, too. I'm glad you mentioned that, Stephen, because when you're a team who has that great pitching that they have, alongside that, you have an offense where you don't really have a lot of guys who can do much for you. You have guys who can't do much for you in the regular season. Imagine in a pressured moment such as an American League Championship Series, you know, and it showed. So when they made those errors, you know, you're now you're just making things harder for yourself because you're not going to be able to put up the runs to make up for the errors that you were making anyway.
You can't keep showing these hitters the same relievers over and over and over again and expecting Soto not to time up a Gaddis heater. You can't keep showing them Class A and expect that Giancarlo's not going to hit one to Pluto. You can't keep showing them the same dudes and think, oh, he's not going to time it up because the home run that Soto hit, that shit was like right here. And he was like, all right, I'm going dead center. See y'all homies later. We going to the series. Like, you needed to push your starter deeper into the game. If I'm Tanner Bobby, I'm looking at Stephen Vogt. You made me pitch to number 20-7 and look, tie ball game. There's a signal. It's called the walk rule. You put up 4 of these and he goes to first base and I don't got to deal with his big ass.
We haven't really seen much of the intentional walk. I'm a little surprised.
And this is where, again, it goes back to situational baseball. If you know your bullpen's been seen, you get the favorable matchup you want. If you got Jazz Chisholm hitting behind Giancarlo Stanton,
you got to walk him. Yeah.
You got to walk Stanton to get the Jazz and let Jazz beat you. If Jazz beats you, then you throw up your hands and you're like, you know what? You beat us. Cool.
And the thing is, too, the chances of Jazz beating you were very slim anyway, because it's not like he was doing much.
They're not great. But here's where I'm going to tell you, the first-year managers, this was a learning curve for both him and Mendoza. You got to get better at attacking the game. For example, right? There's no way in hell I'm even letting Soto get to the plate. Before the donut comes off his bat, before he even walks to the plate, I'm telling the ump, yo, ump, send this dude to first base. Because here's what probably happens. Aaron Judge hits him to a double play. You go to the bottom of the 10th, and guess what? You win the ball game.
Listen, that series, when they got to Cleveland, that could have easily gone to 7 games. I mean, the amount of effort that the Guardians just it was like the flip of a switch. The switch was off here in the Bronx. They took a flight, got home, and it was like, nah, we're playing our style of baseball. And it showed.
That's exactly what they did. And listen, I don't care that this won 5 games. This Yankee team was shitting its pants.
I was as a fan, I'm going to be honest.
When I seen that shit go back to 6-6, I'm like, oh shit. Here the Guardians come. That scrappy group stealing bases, doubles, hitting all over the yard.
And you say all that, and it's crazy how they only managed to get 1 game, man. It's insane.
And this is what I was saying. By the way, if you didn't follow us on Instagram, you're going to get live reactions after wins and all that type of shit. This guy is sleeping, but you know, the night owl was outside. So I'm going to see y'all. That 1 game they won, look at how they had to win that 1 game. Giancarlo hits that home run. You're thinking, yo, are the Yankees about to sweep this fucking series? Are you kidding me? And then John Kenzie Noel lives up to the name Big Christmas.
Big Christmas.
And hits a ball to a part of the stadium I didn't even know the balls could go up there. Good God almighty, did he hit that baseball.
Yeah, he was all over it.
Holy shit. And then David Fry had a couple swings in this post in Cleveland where I'm like, oh shit. I was waiting for J-Ram to hit a grand slam that like killed my existence.
Yeah.
Because it looked like he was right, like he was getting close to doing something, and you're like...
But if you're the Guardians, now that you do bring up Ramirez, you got to get that man some help. I don't know how you're going to go about it, but if I'm the Guardians, I would say you definitely got to find him somebody who could help him out. Not just that, but at the same time, listen, the bullpen, it is what it is. If you could keep it like that, leave it as that, and maybe add 1 more starter, and I could see the Guardians right there once again.
I don't know where they're gonna get that offensive firepower from. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you got to get a guy in here that's gonna make a difference and an impact on the offensive side of the baseball. Listen, trading J-Ram might be the thing that you do that actually sets the franchise up better moving forward. Because I don't know if him by himself is enough to propel you where you want to go. So if I'm Chris Antonetti, if I'm Mike Chernoff, if I'm anybody in that front office, I trade J-Ram. And if you put J-Ram on the market right now, there's a bunch of teams, including the Mets, including the Phillies.
Everyone would line up. Shit, I would line up for him.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I like Jazz Chisholm, but Jazz, you can easily be moved to second base. Like, they got some stuff they got to figure out. And I would be honest, I would explore the thought process of, yo, you know what? Clase was good, but is Clase ever going to do this like this again? So in my head, because you already know I'm thinking like 2-3 years ahead, like I'm not waiting for the guy to fall off the cliff before I deal him. I might deal him now, get a crazy package for him, and set myself up moving forward.
That's a great point, because if you look at Clase and how long he's been this good, it's like, all right, you did it for 3 straight years. Could you do it for another 3? And that's asking for a lot. You know, relievers, that could be his best 3 years, and we might not ever see that again.
And that's why if you're Cleveland, you're in a market where trading him may be the thing you do to shut yourself up to get another Clase any couple years moving forward. So that's why that makes sense to me. But credit to the Guardians. You had a phenomenal year. And by the way, I got to say this. Yo, Stephen Kwan is that dude. You know, he had a 450 batting average in that series, bro. Are you kidding me? 450 batting? Are you out of your mind? That guy is a machine, dog. You want to talk about annoying at bats? You know, like the kid that pokes his mom on the plane. Hey ma, and just pokes the shit out of his mom, and he's on the flight, and the mom's about to fucking choke that kid. That's Stephen Kwan. That's literally what he is, and that's why I love the dude. I think he's underrated, and he catches everything in left field. That kid is good, man.
Now that they are actually in, this is where they belong, man. You know, for those who have been Yankee fans for the better part of 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years, how depending on your age, because I notice we have different ages watching our videos. So shout out to all of you guys. But if you've been a Yankee fan for quite some time now, this was once upon a time normal. This was, something that you just always expected. It was great how they were able to just put it all together. And credit to the Yankees for winning in just 5 games.
For sure, for sure. Aaron Boone, hats off to you. Because you managed this like your life was on the line, my boy. He managed these games like he knew, like, if we lose, I can't go home. They might just fire me right here. They might not even let me back to my condo in New York to pack my shit. Yo, where you need your shit shipped to, God?
If only that really would have happened, if that was the result. But
yo, dog, if they lost this series to the Guardians, he would have been fired. Booney knows he had to get to the series. He knows. So shout out to him for getting there.
Yeah, I think he did a hell of a job managing the team for sure.
If I put my Yankee cap to the side, I'm loving this right now. Pressure bust pipes. What you gonna do? Ohtani, Judge, Soto, Betts. What y'all gonna do? Rizzo, Freeman, Edmund, Chisholm. What y'all gonna do? Cole, Yamamoto, Rodon, Flaherty. What y'all, put up them dukes, bruh.
In a way, even though I know one team will, of course, come out on top, but I listened to you mention all of those names on the Dodgers side as well as on the Yankee side. And, to a certain extent, these guys are pretty much evened out. Not overall, I would say, but I think it's a fair game.
Let me tell you something. Yankee fans, do not treat this team lightly. This Dodgers team is not playing with y'all. They will snatch your soul from your body if you think this is easy.
The one thing that is going to be a drastic difference in teams like the Royals and the Guardians, which are the two teams that the Yankees had to defeat just to make it to this point, to meet the Dodgers in the World Series now, is offense. This is not a lineup where it's just one or two guys. This is not a lineup where they're not going to score runs. Like, they're going to do just that.
Both these teams are going to score a shit ton, right? And I'm going to tell you this right now. One of these games are going to be 11-10 or 10-9.
Can you imagine that? Where damn near everybody goes yard. Judge, Soto, Stanton, Freeman, Ohtani, Betts, everybody.
Tommy Edmond, Jazz might get in another party. You know what I mean? Rizzo might hit one all the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying because, listen, if anybody's expecting for this to end in 4 or 5 games, like, you're out of your damn mind.
Listen, it's going 7 games. There's too much money at stake for it to not to go 7 games.
Yeah, and I think we deserve that as fans, and baseball needs that too.
Big key for me, this is not Ohtani versus Judge, though. To me, this is Ohtani versus Soto. To me, Soto is the guy right now that I'm hitching my wagon to. It's no offense to the big fella. Because for all we know, Aaron Judge can tell me, yo, shut the hell up what you talking about. Go out to Dodger Stadium and have the series of his life. I'm cool. But you talking about the man that's about to earn anywhere between $550 and $700 million in Mr. Soto.
And he knows it.
By the way, did you see after the game when Hal's on the field and they're like, oh, great swing by Soto. You see his brain calculating, well, that home run just added about 50, 60, 70, 80 million.
Yeah, man.
We had him at about 530, 540. Now it's about 630, 650. You know what I mean?
Do you see it surpassing 600 like with no problem? Like, have we gotten to that point with his performance now in the postseason?
I wouldn't say no problem, but it would surprise me if the finals number is anywhere between 600 and 650. No. Because you got to understand, he's 26 years old. And if he propels you to a World Series, guess what? You know who was the happiest person in the world when Juan Soto hit the home run? Fuck Yankee fans. Scott Boras is like, jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
Bringing it back to the Yankees and the Dodgers now, the World Series. My question for you, are you worried at all when it comes to the Yankee bullpen and how they performed against a lineup such as the Cleveland Guardians now having to go up against the Dodgers instead. Because, listen, we all saw it, right? The Guardians gave the Yankees a run for their money in some of those games. They made it difficult in every way imaginable. And that's without having the offensive power that a team like the LA Dodgers has. Are you worried at all? Or do you think the Dodgers are just as worried as the Yankees should be?
Any Yankee fan that tells you they're not terrified is lying. I'm terrified. This ain't, no disrespect, this ain't Stephen Kwan or Jose Ramirez. This is them dudes. You got Ohtani leading off the ball game. If you don't think I'm going to be shaking like a leaf in the first inning with no outs going, Garrett, please don't throw this nigga fastball. Please, for the love of God. Terrified. Now, the same thing could be said for the Dodgers because I don't like Dave Roberts in the big game. That's why I think they're going to have a hard time. This ain't Carlos Mendoza, nigga. This ain't Mike Schilt. Nah. You going to have to figure some shit out. You rolling out Jack Flaherty in game one. Jack Flaherty historically is not a good postseason pitcher. You're rolling him out against that Yankee lineup in a rowdy, like Dodger Stadium's gonna be rowdy, but they're gonna be Yankee fans in there. They ain't gonna be all dodged out. You rolling them out there, you know what I mean? Like you get one bad swing off, Soto hits one to dead center field. We're looking at a 2-0 deficit by the time you sit down. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the Yankee bullpen worries me from this aspect. It's not as deep as the Dodger bullpen. It's just as dynamic, but the Dodgers bullpen has a little bit more wiggle room. Like you can do a little more with the Dodger bullpen. They can give you a little bit more length, and they got a little bit more depth. Now it was confirmed and reported today. Nestor Cortez is going to be on the roster pitching out of the bullpen.
Wow, that's huge. Okay.
To which I said, that's a joker. That's the ace in the hole. That's the dude, that fireman. He comes out, bases loaded, Ohtani, 7th inning. Yo, get this lefty out of here, please. And then that's when Nestor comes in and says, no, you hadn't seen me yet. Watch this. Side arm. See ya. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then on the Dodgers side, you got guys like Alex Vesia, and they got weapons in the bullpen too.
See, on the Dodgers side, it's a little different though, because I kind of feel like they need that reinforcement, right? Especially with not having somebody to pitch a game for you who is a starter. Whereas for the Yankees, you spoke about it. Garrett Cole, Rodon, Clark Schmidt, Luis Gil, if they have to. The Dodgers don't have that same privilege in having that fourth guy lined up and saying confidently, like, yo, he's our guy. They actually don't know how they would start that. And we've seen that in the Padres series and, of course, with the Mets.
If you're the Dodgers, when is the first time you throw in a bullpen game in the series? Like, are you thinking about, like, listen, let's try and throw a bullpen game out here in Los Angeles because we have the momentum. We're at home, especially if we win the first game. Let's throw a bullpen game in the second game and have Yamamoto ready to pitch in Yankee Stadium.
I like that idea, especially when you consider how the crowd can get in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium.
His one start at Yankee Stadium this year, he was good.
Right. I remember that start. Exactly. And that actually playing a role in, perhaps a reliever not being able to put it all together how you would like if you are going to go with a bullpen game. Whereas a guy like a Yamamoto or whomever they decide to throw out there instead would be able to give you a little more. They got some thinking to do.
I don't envy Dave Roberts or Aaron Boone right now. I really don't. I had a crazy thought. I know Gleyber's been great in the leadoff hole, but I think I'm leading off Aaron Judge.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
You're not going to want to walk a guy to start the game, right? He's going to get pitches to hit. And here's the thing. The more at-bats he gets, the more he sees the relievers, the more he gets to feel the rhythm, the better off he might be. I know it sounds crazy to do that because he's a power guy. You could be 1-0 by the time everybody's settled into the pavilion. There could be balls up there with an empty seat. You know what I'm saying?
That would be interesting, but by the looks of it,
Gleyber's been good, and I'm not crapping on Gleyber Torres. What I'm saying is, you look at what the Dodgers are doing. If we want to match star power for star power, like Ohtani can wreck the game within the first 3 pitches of a ball game. He sees a pitch he likes in a good spot. It's 1-0 the Dodgers by the time you know what I mean? Before you blink. This is gonna be a headache if you're a manager, boy.
Before we go, I just want to make this clear, not only for myself, but as well as for everyone who's watching this video. What's your prediction for this series? I'm gonna say mine first. I got Yankees in 7. I also agree with you in terms of how far this series can go. I think it indeed will go that far. And if it doesn't, then, it is what it is. I'll live with that. But I got the Yankees in 7.
Dodgers in 7. It hurts me to say it. I hope Yankees in 6. My soul says Yankees in 6, but my baseball brain, the nerd in me says, well, damn.
All right. Well, there you have it, everyone. You heard what I think. You heard what
I
he
hope I
thinks.
get this prediction dead wrong, and me and you are on the stream after that final out with bottles of fucking champagne going absolutely bonkers when the Yankees win the World Series.
That's the plan. That's my plan, especially.
I'm telling you, if the Yankees win the World Series, ain't gonna be none of that Instagram, bro. We hopping directly on this motherfucking YouTube, and we partying for a little while. If you up and the boys win the championship, Yankee fans, come party with us, bro. Cause we gonna be. I might start drinking during the game. Just to not. If we lose, I don't want to feel nothing. If we win, I want to feel everything.
All right. So for those of you who watch this video, shout out to all of you. We appreciate it, of course.
Real quick, there will be a watch along for Game 4, which is that next Tuesday. Come by and pop in and say what's up. Know what I mean? There's gonna be post-game reaction, instant reaction after every World Series game. Win or lose for the Yankees, win or lose for the Dodgers, whatever you rooting for. We here, we outside, you gonna see us.
Shout out to everyone who watched this video. Tell us what you think about the NLCS and how that went down, as well as the ALCS. Did it turn out to be what you thought? Did it turn out to be something else?
Shout out to the Mets and Guardians one time. Like, give them all the love and respect in the world, though. Seriously, I know we laugh and joke, but to be the last four standing, that's a real accomplishment.
Yeah, for sure. As I mentioned, World Series, this is it. You got Yankees in 5, 6, 7. You got Dodgers in 5, 6, 7. I mean, let's be honest. We've made it very clear here in this video. It's, evenly matched. It could really go either way. Any last thoughts, Stefan?
All I'm gonna say is ding, ding, ding.
Okay. All right.
Fight's about to get started. Find yourself a comfortable seat. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb, and let's have a grand old time.
Follow us on Instagram at 27outs3c. And of course, the YouTube, make sure you subscribe.
We ain't got to go home, but we got to get the hell up out of here. Peace.